Okay, so I really didn't expect to do this reading already, and I didn't take any notes. I mean, I guess I could have, but I didn't really feel like it for whatever reason. So, that being that, this is, I guess, the 14 of 38. So, we're getting there. We're getting there. This is the Phantasmagoric Theater Tarot. Oh, we got the card that's on the box. That's interesting. Okay, something being taken at face value, something being given at face value. I feel like you're to be taken at face value. With this deck, I tried to trim it, and there's a couple of cards I couldn't get them right. I couldn't get the two cards the same size. I think there's like maybe 3 or 4 total that I tried to trim, but they're all like slightly different and wonky, so I gave up and I stopped. But I still absolutely love the deck, so I've kept it. And I just don't use it that often because my mistake is on full display. So it's fine. But only one of them came out, so I'm kind of impressed that more didn't come out. It's like, see if I can even, yeah. Because this one is like way down in there, and it's like not even the same size. It's, yeah. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. This one too. So yeah, there's a few. It's all good. We love it. Okay. I don't know exactly what I was expecting with this deck, but I feel like I actually got something different than I expected. So I think it's kind of interesting that there's already kind of something here being taken at face value. General atmosphere is the 7 of coins. It feels like you've really been growing something. You've been investing something. I mean, literally, maybe you could be like growing plants or like things like that, but like you've been making moves in like a specific direction or like doing things to set yourself up for future success. I feel like there's also an element here of needing to kind of sit back and see how far you've come, but also recognize that there are ways that you can already celebrate where you are. There are rewards that you're already able to reap. But I also feel like at the same time, your season is not yet here, but soon. Okay, your season is not yet here, but soon. And it also kind of gives the feeling of about to burst above the soil, like there's so much work been done in the dark underground, literally about to burst through the soil. Interesting how each reading seems to kind of connect to another, to another, to another. So there's definitely this connective thread here. Crossing that is the Ace of Cups. It almost feels like the same old shit, like the same old cycles. I actually don't feel like that's true. I feel like it is completely new, but at the same time, there's also like not really, it doesn't feel like there's a level of putting it into action. So it's like I've healed from the narcissistic relationships, but I also haven't really and had a bunch of healthy relationships after that either. So it's almost at this like pause, this point of pause before the shift fully is in effect, like active effect. Okay. Huh. Also, I'm kind of sensing there's something fear based here, but whatever it is, it's really old and outdated. And I think that came out in the Oracle card, so I think that's interesting. The foundation is the Hanged Man. I feel like it is so much about you gaining a new perspective of your life, a new perspective of yourself. I feel like you've been experiencing your life differently, and this collective veil has been lifted in a lot of ways. So that could be part of it, seeing through the illusions. But I also feel like this is something very intentional that you're doing to change your perspective about something. Willingly going through something difficult because you know it will be better in the long run. That's almost the same feeling as the Seven of Coins here. Like, you know you're going to get to reap the rewards. And you may be beginning to reap some, but there's more, much more in the future. But it does kind of seem to be at this point of pause, which also is indicative of the Hanged Man, which could be a stuck energy. Again, it depends on your perspective. Passing influence is the Queen of Wands. She feels so not just creative, but very smart, very bright, very lit up from the inside, very passion driven, also very aligned with the 11 here. Like, I feel like you're very guided and you pay attention to you see a lot of signs and symbols and synchronicities and angel numbers and things like that. There's so much purpose and passion here. I also kind of feel like in some ways you've got an ace up your sleeve. So it's like, that's interesting because you do. And it's what's on her arm is actually a spade. So then I'm hearing Ace of Spades, Ace of Spades. Like, I don't even know that song or if that's the right lyric. Like, what? Okay, star quality. I feel like you kind of you outdo the expectations of others. I feel like you far outdo them just naturally. You probably like blow people's mind a lot, just with the way you think, the way you see the world, your creativity, the inner spark, the life that you bring to your environment, any situation you're in. What's on your mind is the sun. And I'm thinking about how I'm equating it to something at face value. There's almost an air of expectation about this, like waiting to hear news of your success. That makes me feel like the Three of Wands. Waiting for your ships to come in. But like there is very like a optimistic, anticipatory almost, but like also there's an air of patience. So it's not like frenzied waiting or like anxious. Also this feeling of trusting in the timing, knowing that all will be revealed as it should. Trusting what's being revealed and how it's being revealed to you. Interesting also because it's in what's on your mind. It's the perspective, the mindset, the perspective, and we've been talking about perspective. I'm getting weird flashes like on some other timeline I did write written messages. So, like, there's something weird going on with timelines, like overlapping timelines. Like, you're literally receiving flashes of, like, overlapping timelines. The near future is Six of Coins. Sixes, for me, in the tarot are very karmic cards. This is a very karmic energy, a karmic exchange. There's something also here about something unexpected, not having a lot of expectations for something, but there's already something that's been aligned or that is being aligned. Some kind of connection to the past. I'm actually hearing tether, some kind of tether to the past. Past life, childhood, or just something that's really nostalgic to like a past version of you, a time in life when when it wasn't so damn hard or so damn dramatic, even. Also, something about the simplicity of exchange. So, something about reciprocity. I like that. That's a really equal give and take. So, we like that. We like the reciprocity. Proof that we are not the same people that we used to be. We don't accept the breadcrumbs and the gaslighting and the lies, and we don't perpetuate the narcissistic patterns and trying to do better here, folks. Okay, so the way you see the situation is the Ten of Wands. On some levels, it feels like you just do what you do. You put on a happy face. You don't let everybody know how much you think this shit sucks. I feel like you're weighed down by a lot of unnecessary things. I feel like responsibility that's been put upon you or that you've willingly continued to carry. So there again is this need to kind of lay things down, let them go. I feel like that's going to become much more prominent in the oracle. It just feels like you've been carrying some kind of burden, some kind of energetic burden, emotional burden, generational burden, physical burden, whatever it is. But there's also this kind of emptiness that's coming through. Like realizing that something's missing, or realizing that you're not really happy, or realizing, like, questioning something. And this inner reckoning that's been happening throughout these multiple readings. Other people see the world, the ending of a cycle. I feel like there are certain people who kind of have like devious intentions, but not everyone. So I feel like it's really important for you to use your discernment and to like know what people expect from you, what they want from you. What do you want from me? The ending of an era is what I'm hearing. Also, there's again something coming through about perspective. I like that there's a little plant here because I said something about plants, just vibing with the plants or whatever. Candle magic. Something about the perspective at which you see something. Because what you seek is what you'll find, but it is about the perspective with which you seek it. I also feel like on some level there's people who recognize they can't access you the same, they can't get to you the same, they can't treat you the same, they can't feed off you, manipulate you, lie to you, whatever. They simply cannot access you the same. Emotionally, this is about moving away from chaos and confusion and sharp words and passive aggressive fucking people and moving towards peace and tranquility and intuition. Moving towards purpose. I also think it's something about facing the fears, facing the inner demons. It's like when you're in a dream and you're being chased and you turn around and it's like, oh, it was me. I was chasing me the whole time. It's like that feeling here. So like some emotion that you're scared of like facing is like really not even, it's like, oh. And it could also be like, well, I kind of already knew that in some way, so I'm not super surprised. So it's like it's not even nearly as bad as what the fear is telling you it's going to be. Like, oh, it's going to be Pandora's box. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's literally got a feather or some shit in there. And the final outcome is the Eight of Cups, walking away from something, letting bygones be bygones, leaving the efforts that you've put into something in the past. But actually, this person is kind of taking them with them, dragging it along. So it feels like it's going to be important for you to know what you're willing to continue to carry and continue to facilitate in your life and in your field of experience. So again, this kind of inner reckoning that's happening What are you willing to lay down? What do you feel is an absolute must to bring with you? What are you not willing to let go of? What are you? Knowing what each will cost you. The overall energy is the Empress. She's attractive and she attracts what she desires. And under that is the Knight of Cups. So, like this genuine offer. Yeah, because we like and the Ten of Cups. We like the reciprocity. We like the genuine attention. Also, okay, there's dice here, and I was noticing the dice on this Six of Coins. So this Knight of Cups feels connected to that. That's interesting. And obviously the cup and the cup here. So it's almost like, is that some kind of fated meeting, or like there's some kind of a delay because you're still figuring out what you want and what you deserve. You're still solidifying that within your energy, solidifying the knowing. And so you're still in process of manifesting that literal happily ever after with somebody karmically connected. And karmic doesn't have to be a bad thing. Because again, there's something here about the perspective of it, the perspective of the pursuit. Because I feel like you're moving in a much more healed way. So it's about putting the healing into effect. Putting your money where your mouth is or whatever. But definitely something about solidifying your inner knowing about who the fuck you are and what the fuck you deserve. Okay, so I felt pretty called to immediately like pull from this Stripper World Oracle again. And not because this Phantasmagoric tarot or theater tarot is like especially dark. It's just kind of quirky and weird, but it's not really dark or anything. But I still was like, that's okay. This is kind of a weird deck too, but I felt called to use it, so I did. And you got Smell the Roses. It's easy to get lost in the everyday hustle and bustle in a world that demands so much from us. Begin to look for ways to slow down and embrace the present moment. So yeah, there's definitely something about being in the moment, being more present, slowing down, that patience, knowing that all is unfolding as it should. And that as things are required of you on this journey, that you will recognize, adjust, and adapt easily, effortlessly. Trust. And then you got Lighten Up. If you are exhausted, overwhelmed, or simply ready to forge a new and lighter path, realize that perfectionism is exhausting, control is elusive, but presence is peace. That's interesting because those two almost kind of say the same thing. It's about being present. It's about being in the moment. And there is kind of this feeling of lightening up the energy because this energy is much lighter than I expected it to be. And that's why I'm saying I don't know what I expected, but this is much more lighter and like effervescent in some ways than I expected. There's a much more passive, like chill energy to this deck than I expected. Also, getting sidelined often feels like rejection. It is critical to shift beyond the negative feeling and build the resiliency to take action. Focus on what you can control and move forward. It is important to focus on what you can control and not get so caught up in what you can't. There are going to be detours along the way, and there are going to be pauses. And some of those pauses, those liminal spaces, some of them are going to be pretty long. Some of them are going to be pretty short. Maybe you'll be in two at once. That's not surprising. But it is so important to control your perspective. That's within your power. Control your mindset. That's within your power. Not controlling other people and how they perceive you. That's not within your power. So it's really knowing the difference. And not letting other people define you. define your path or your life or who you are. They don't have that power. Don't give them that. Take pride. You've accomplished so much. Celebrate your achievements, however small they may be. Yeah, because I do feel like there is this energy of enjoying the harvest. But also, I feel like part of this coming through is about the guilt of that. Enjoying the harvest when there's so many people who are suffering and who have so little. So it's very humanitarian and compassionate of you. But at the same time, I think the guilt is part of what you can lay down because you didn't, I mean, it is what it is. You didn't, there are some things out of your control. Where you were born, what region you were born in, like what you look like, things like that. Like there are certain things that are out of your control. And not guilting yourself out of your own happiness and accomplishments just because the world is kind of shit. And high life, perhaps luxuries have turned into needs or simply spending more than you make. Take a long, hard, honest look, but lying to yourself will never allow you to get ahead in life. So I feel like there is some truth you're needing to recognize maybe, or like something that's being shown about some way that you're maybe living outside your means. And that doesn't necessarily have to be financial. It very well could be like energetically or in some other area. Making sure that you're really honest with yourself, because again, I think there's this this level of fear here about being honest, about looking at something, about facing something, about seeing something for what it is. But when you face that fear and you look at it, it's like, oh, that wasn't even worth all this. There are things happening for a reason. I feel like there's things happening behind the scenes, below the surface. But I feel like there's something building. There's pieces of the puzzle slowly being put into place. You just don't have the perspective to see how it's all going to be, but you're being asked to have the belief. Okay. Faith before you have the proof. The next deck I felt really called to pull from was the Situations Oracle. And then I always kind of use the toxic triggers with that. And you got a shit ton from the toxic triggers. So I thought that was interesting because you kind of got a shit ton from the Stripper World Oracle. So from the situations, you got lost, ghosted, blocked, and cut off. And I don't really use this deck a lot because I feel like it gives me mixed signals, mixed messages. But ghosted, blocked, and cut off. And then interlude, pause, timing, and factor. That's interesting because I literally mentioned a timing, or a pause. And then bounty hunter, chaser, and hot pursuit. When I saw these, when I first pulled them, I thought, oh, that's interesting because I only read really the top here. So it's lost, interlude, and bounty hunter. So it's like lost and hunter. So like running and chasing. There's definitely some kind of liminal space here that you're in. Literally some kind of interlude, some kind of pause. You are in a liminal space and you may feel lost, literally cut off from something. But I also feel like this is the setup, because once the door opens, once whatever this blockage is dissolves, you will literally be set loose and you will need all of the energy that you've been forced to preserve in this timeout, in this pause, in this liminal space. So that's kind of what's happening here, is this gathering of energy, this gathering of resources, this gathering of knowing, this like inner stability that's happening. This pause before you're being asked to run flat out full speed in pursuit of something that feels extremely aligned and something you feel passionate about, something worth fucking chasing, basically. Okay, so with the toxic triggers, you got deceit. This person lied before and will lie again. So know that liars never change. They're going to continue to lie, and they're going to continue to always be liars, and that's just how they are. And you cannot change them, but you can change yourself, and you can choose to quit fucking believing liars. Quit allowing yourself to be deceived by liars. And again, alternatively, stop lying to yourself. Face whatever it is that you're actually afraid of. It's not that bad. I mean, maybe it is, but like not as bad as you think it's going to be. And then wisdom. Trauma has given you perspective and wisdom to assist others. So that's the thing about, you've taken your trauma and turned it into this absolute superpower. Alchemy at its finest. Like, who even are you? Magician in the flesh. Magic in the flesh. You are a wisdom keeper. Wise. You are a teacher, a healer, a light worker, generational curse breaker. Like, who the fuck even are you? Turning your pain into power. You could give lessons. Some of you may be feeling called to do exactly that. Can't breathe, anxiety, and depression. So there is this need to kind of let your faith outweigh your fear. Let your optimism outweigh your anxiety, and know that there is meaning in the waiting. There is meaning in the waiting. And try not to suffocate yourself with things that you can't change. Try not to overthink about things that you actually have no control over. Don't suffocate yourself in that way. And also don't put more on your shoulders than is necessary. Trying to prove yourself to someone or yourself even. That's not necessary. Don't self-sabotage. Don't suffocate yourself. Really check in with your body and honor how you feel around certain people in certain situations, and take care of your mental health. Take care of you. And try not to be around people who facilitate your anxiety and depression and make you feel shittier. True friends. You have a community of support. Yeah. Turn your attention and energy to people who uplift and support you. I feel like this is very much about moving away from the suffocating, deceitful energies, moving towards something much more peaceful and community-based, where you can literally put into practice your lived experience. Tranquility. Take your time, slow down, because the thing is, you're going to be called to move quickly at some point, but that time is not now. You're still in the pause. You're still in the in-between. You're still in the liminal. You're still being asked to slow down, to take your time, and to really align your vision before you're let loose, before it's almost like how the gates raise, like when the race starts, or like they swing up, however they open, and like the race is on. And it looks like pride in the backstretch. Heartache going to the inside. Yeah. My tears are holding back. Anyway. Because I feel like when the gates open, when you're being called to move, you'll know. But for now, I want to say don't belie where you're at, but I don't know how to use that word, or if that's even a real word. Belie. Okay. Moving on. Intentions. Ask their intent and set clear ones for yourself. I do think it is very important to know what people expect from you, what they want from you. But the thing is, you don't have to adhere to their expectations. You don't have to carry the responsibility of their processed emotions on your back. That's a them thing. That's not you. You don't have to carry the weight of their weaponized incompetence if you no longer choose to do that. Because there's this thing, you're seeing very clearly the intentions of others. It's becoming very clear in ways that you can no longer ignore. And in some ways, you're being asked to choose what you're willing to continue to accept and what you're not. The next one is withered. Let go of the old and outdated. Yes, there's very much this energy of letting go of something that's just no longer working. It's no longer aligned. It no longer feels good. It no longer makes you laugh. It no longer just makes you happy. It no longer works. It's no longer a coping mechanism that works. Like whatever it is, let it the fuck go. And then memories, time to face the triggers. So I think it's interesting because that Six of Coins is, again, very nostalgic and some kind of potential past life energy or whatever. But also something about triggers from childhood that are coming up that are being, and that's kind of what this Six of Swords feels like facing the monster under the bed or the monster in the closet, like ripping the doors open and shining the light in, like facing the triggers head on, not being afraid of the perceived shadows that they project, not hanging on to the memories, because the thing is, sometimes people change and they don't change for the better. And like sometimes the things we're hanging on to are the outdated versions of other people. It's not always about the outdated versions of ourselves. But I feel like it's time for you to figure out what you need to let go of and what continues to trigger you and how you can maybe eliminate that or heal your nervous system so that it doesn't continue to trigger you. And then the last card is cleansing, clearing out old energies, which is pretty much what this other one said. There's something here, whatever that translates to you specifically, there's something here that's just withered and dying and needs cleared away. I mean, it literally could be anything. Relationship, person, job, an aspect of yourself, a habit, an interest, coping mechanism, whatever. It literally could be anything. But also, there is this knowing that there's a purpose for this thing to be cleared out because you're being prepared for something greater. And that's wild because that exact same message came through in the last reading I just did with all completely different cards. So it's a very specific message. The people I'm reading for lately in personal readings are very, very connected to these collective readings. It's so interesting how I'm seeing that pattern. Literally in this liminal space because you're being set up for success. You're being prepared for something so much more. That was unexpected, but I love you and I hope it helped.